Good morning, everybody. June 21st. Happy summer. It's official in Arizona. 120 yesterday, something like that. It's kind of why I've been doing the evening shoots and why I'm in the shade now, because the heat is getting ridiculously excessive and pretty quick. Arizona's like hot or really hot. So it's kind of funny. All right, so I'm going to finish off one couple points, but then I'm probably going to lead into those points. Because yesterday, I was reviewing the video and I kind of missed a couple crucial, vital pieces of information. One of them is the metallics, chemtrails, immunizations, fluoride. You have mercury in your immunizations. You have the barium, strontium, aluminum, supposedly it's said. And the reason being I say that is because there was an Air Force truther, I guess you could say, whistleblower, and she claimed that these chemicals were in it. Now, whether or not that's the facts, that's to be decided upon, but it was never officially released like those are the chemicals being sprayed out. But this is what she was saying was on the manifestos of the shippings and the products and what they were bringing in and what they were taking away on the planes. So it was always her word versus what's out there. And I mean, now they've supposedly come out, government has come out and stated that it's geoengineering, that they're spraying these metallic properties into the clouds for reflective purposes, to either reflect the infrared rays or for global communication, basically saying it makes energy or waves more transmittable, because it's like making water an electrolyte by adding baking soda or salt, because without those things, there's no way for the electricity to travel. So they say that these chemtrails, I mean, that's just the lingo form, the planes flying across the sky, spraying chemicals, these are, quote unquote, chemtrails, not contrails. So don't think I'm mispronouncing it. It is intentional. They say that they're spraying this for the purpose of better communicating, geoengineering, satellite technology, supposedly. That's a whole nother topic, flat earth topic, that I never really got into, and I'm not half done with anything I want to address in these topics. So just realize that there's still plenty more that I can talk about, and somehow, some way, miraculously, I can do it like out of my head. I've memorized things without even realizing they were memorized, and just because I was so obsessed and so determined to figure out what these things meant. So these metallic properties, right? The immunizations has mercury. Fluoride going in the water since the 50s. It was like the 40s even, I think, maybe even the 30s. If you weren't aware, these are the same exact traits that Hitler provided for his concentration camp to make his individuals more docile, to make the Jews that were present there more docile and not to put up a fight. He was introducing fluoride into the water. He was spraying an aluminum compound into the air, which was like cloud seeding, which is our form of chemtrailing now. I mean, these are all tactics that were already done in concentration camps in Germany. And the reason being, which I didn't get it explained to yesterday, the whole reason I even brought up the Ida and Pingala and the Pituitary and the Pineal is because your pineal gland is the feminine. The piece that I didn't get to finish. The Pituitary is your masculine, the pineal gland is your feminine. The pituitary is electrical, so hormone producer, manufacturer. It actually is what makes you grow, what makes you get bigger. That's why it was so revered and renowned, because this one gland is actually introducing all these chemicals into your body, which then go to wherever destination, and then it makes you grow, makes you adapt, makes you evolve, quote unquote. So it was understood, like even the fact of giants, like I think it was believed that not only was their brain size bigger, but their cranial cavity was bigger, the pituitary gland was bigger. All these are indicators that they were giants. That's a whole other topic that I really want to get to soon, but this metallic. So the pituitary is the masculine, the pineal is the feminine. The feminine is magnetic. So the masculine is electric, or it's the manufacturer or the producer, and the pineal gland, which is the feminine, is the receiver or magnetic. And literally magnetic. Like in the center of your brain lies the pineal gland, where it magnetizes to any metallic property. And this is actually how doctors will measure tumors in your brain. They will determine where your tumor is mislodged at based off of the positioning of the metallic coating over your pineal gland. It literally attracts the metal. And they use this in CAT scans and MRIs, and this technology is actually proven, like through this concept. I mean, just simple concept of just checking for brain tumors. They check to see where the mislodging of this metallic pineal gland lies, and if it's too far to the left, too far to the right, that's how they determine your brain tumor, or where it's located, or where to determine it's at, because they can't just literally see it through the tissue. It's all tissue. That's why you're getting metallics into your air, into your water, into your blood, because when it flows through your system, those little particles are automatically getting attracted to your pineal gland. Now, why is this important? Your pineal gland is your inner vision. Your pineal gland is your ability to visualize. It's your inner eye. It is literally a third eye. It has an optical lens, a cornea. Like, it has all these features of an actual eye, like inside your brain though, like looking at nothing, but it does receive light. Like, this is how you actually, the light you're interpreting is being interpreted through your pineal gland, which are rays, frequency, etc. So this pineal gland is not only important for spiritual awakening, the reason they use it so vitally for that process or understanding is because your visualization is how you grow. Like, without visualizing, you can't make yourself stronger, because you only see yourself to be that person that you are at that moment, at that time. If you ask any athlete or anybody who's accomplished something or anybody who's did something, what have they always utilized? What's the most primary tool? Is visualization. Your inner eye is what allows you to visualize. Your inner eye is what makes you dream, because this is, where DMT comes from, dimethyltryptamine. Man, why can't I think of that word for some reason right now? It's my favorite word. Dimethyltryptamine. It's DMT. It's the vaporizable ayahuasca, essentially. Ayahuasca is a tea. It's brewed out of a tree root bark, or ayahuasca is a root actually. And they take that root and boil it, and then they take another MAOI, which is some sort of inhibitor that breaks down toxins a certain way through your liver or something to that effect. Oh, I got a squirrel drinking water over there. That's cool. And, where was I? Okay, so the root bark, the root is the ayahuasca, the MAOI is a separate, I believe, leaf they use. It's another tea, but they actually have to drink this tea first and wait 20 minutes before they can ingest the ayahuasca. And without doing so, that would actually not allow the ayahuasca to kick in. And it's a common thing that's talked about, is that when these Peruvians or South American shamans are asked, how did you know to use this second option to make the ayahuasca kick in? And obviously it's been handed over, but their claim is that the plants told them. And then it becomes this stipulation, like, did the plants really tell them or did they not tell them? Well, in all honesty, this has been a handed down tradition for exponential amount of time. I mean, so in reality, did the first person really tell them? As far as plants, I don't think so. I truly believe that we were in an advanced civilization, and this advanced civilization was a form of giants, was a form of our Aztecs, our Mayans, our Native Americans, our Egyptians even. Like, I believe Egyptians weren't Egyptians, but they were this actual bloodline that was carried over because of a catastrophe. I guess while we're on it, let's do it. Why not? Giants, right? So if we consider giants, it's been speculated that the Smithsonian has actually abducted, you could say, any type of fossil finding regarding giant skeletons or anything. Like, the minute it's discovered upon, like, they're on the scene 24 hours later, and they're basically taking it in and never to be seen of again. It's getting supposedly preserved and all these things. Like, one example is in the 30s or the 20s, I want to say it was closer to the 20s. In Arizona, in the Grand Canyon, there was a cavern that was discovered. In this cavern, it was up on a cliff in the middle of the canyon. Like, it was kind of impossible of how to get to it. But the reason being, after finding out, like, there was sarcophaguses and mummies and gold and treasure, all this Egyptian artifacts. So it's like, why is it in the Grand Canyon, for one? Why is it in the Southwest? On top of that, these mummies that were supposedly said to be in there had like elongated skulls. They were giant, like 12 feet. When I say giant, some will go to the extent of saying 36 feet. At times, I don't believe it was that big, because when you look at some of the weaponry from ancient time, it was big, but it wasn't massively big. Now, this would also explain why we have such gigantic rocks that have been placed, like Stonehenge or the Egyptian pyramids or the Mayan temples, because the Mayan temples are only built on top of other excavation sites. Like they only add to their building on top of the building that was underneath, and the building that are underneath are huge, or are massive, and to us it's like unfeasible. How the heck is that possible? What were they using? I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, it was advanced technology, I feel, but they were also giant. So to them, it wouldn't have been such a big feat. It would have just been a brick. It would have just been a rock that I'm gonna press pause, guys, 1 second. I had an Apache helicopter come over, so I don't want to have the audio interfere. I love that I have this new phone. It's an S7, so I mean, it's definitely better than the phone I had before. So not only is front-facing camera better, but I can hook up my mic to the actual camera phone option. I can do this feature, pausing. I love it. I can see my time I'm in, so I know I'm at 11 minutes and 18 seconds right now. I love it. So either way, the giants, right? So it makes sense how these big sites could have been created, is because if they were giant, it wouldn't have been so of a magnificent feat to have accomplished. For us as little, it makes sense, you know, that we see it as so miraculous and so huge and big. And the reason I say this, right, is because we have the whole dinosaur question. Now, the whole thing about dinosaurs, right, and the reason I even throw out there on Facebook, why is it even possible dinosaurs existed? Because of the Smithsonian. Like, the Smithsonian will come and absorb all the artifacts, like 24 hours after something's been discovered, and then they take it and supposedly preserve it, and it's never to be seen of again, and it's locked up, and no one's ever allowed access except for those who are in the Smithsonian of some sort. So you have that whole concept, and then with the whole thing with dinosaur fossils is that the fossil in itself is bone. I mean, a rock is no longer bone. There's no carbon in it. Now, the whole concept of how they're dating it is carbon radio dating, or radiocarbon dating, and that's basically testing the decay of a carbon atom and how long it's been decayed and how long it would have taken to get that decayed. So if there's no living organism around that, which a rock unfortunately is not living in our idea of carbon related living, so you can't compare it to anything in itself, but you have to compare what's around it. So now, which is fine, it's great, you know, some rocks, yeah, you know, you can take the dirt sample next to it and maybe that will be the age of that rock, you know. But now when we bring the whole flood into the picture, the flood is nothing but shifting and moving dirt and soil and pushing it everywhere. So how can we believe that that fossil that was discovered, and if there truly was a great flood, now if you ask geologists, they'll tell you the layers that are there, there's proof, there's evidence that there was like an atomic blast that occurred, you know, like hundreds of thousands of years ago, like 200,000 years ago. There was basically there's glass like in a certain layer of the geography in the dirt. I don't know how to say that, but this glass layer is like all the way from Canada spread throughout the United States and into the oceans, and it just exists there. Now, the only way that could have possibly happened is that it melted down sand, you know, and a high explosion, and they can tell where there's high concentrations of it and it decreases, so they can almost determine where the impact was, essentially. Now, there is valid things for science, but that's my qualm with the whole did dinosaurs exist, because in my opinion, now don't get me wrong, there was some sort of prehistoric animal life, period. We have it now, we had it then, we will have it tomorrow. But is it what they tell us they are? Because again, the only thing we fully discovered is the mastodon, and anything outside of that has been speculation as to what this creature could have been that they create either a title for, or, you know, it's all created through imagination, through visualization. Somebody had to create everything that you see in front of you today. So everything that you know as fact was created by somebody at some point, at some time. It had to be created. And that's like what you always have to remember, is that man's mind is involved in everything. And how reasonable is man's mind? How can we take in everything 100% and accept it as fact when we know how opposites and bipolar our minds truly are? I mean, that hasn't gone away. I kind of figured it would kind of go long, but at least I got that crucial piece out. I really wanted you guys to know. Oh my gosh, that lizard is there. I know the universe loves you guys seeing me in those fearful moments, but that's awesome in a way. I guess I'm talking too much. You guys have a great rest of the day. We'll see what tomorrow brings. I'll get to my past eventually. Maybe we'll save it for Saturday on an easy day, but I would really appreciate, topics that you guys want to hear, because I'm just going off of what enjoys me, what I enjoy. I don't know exactly what you guys want to hear or have questions about. So if anybody could give me topics that you desire to listen to, let me know, and I can almost guarantee I can probably talk about it. Like, there's so much that I have to talk about. And it's not just religion, it's not just conspiracy theories. I mean, it's just pure logic, everything, all the above. Is it gonna be, you know what I mean? You guys have a great rest of the day. Thank you. Michael Smith, I'm out.